Hi guys, so for today's Busted Out, since last week went so well with making our little deconstructed card kit binder, I'm going to call it binder, I don't know, folio, I don't care for the word folio, I don't know. And I said maybe we'll keep the series going with different sizes, and I've heard from a lot of you guys, yes, you would love to see a 5x7, yes, you'd love to see like a slimline, and whatever else I might have mentioned, so that's what we're going to do. So if I have any links in the description box, you know, for the tools I use and maybe some of the things I pull out, those would be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. So thank you guys for using those. And again, the description box is right under the video. You can click on show more, the little caret, click on the title. It just depends on what you're using to watch. That opens up that description box. And that's with anybody on YouTube, if they're offering a recipe or more info, it's always in the description box. So it's a good thing to know where it is. And I do get questions about that very often, where it is. So that's why I'm mentioning it. So we had a lot of fun with this one. I was really sad to see the series end. I mean, I just love it. Well, the series on this one, right? The A2. So today we're going to start a 5x7. Now, knowing me, as far as 5x7s, it's not really something I have a lot of, but I have a lot of Anna Griffin things, which are usually geared towards 5x7. So you'll probably see a lot of Anna in here as far as some of the dies and other things I'll be using. I did work up some numbers, and this time I made the book a little bit bigger. Last time I made it so that basically the book was the width of the envelope, so the envelopes are in here nice and snug. But, you know, maybe your envelopes are a little bit bigger, so I think today I'm going to make it a 5x7, but really the outer dimension is going to be 5.5 by 7.5. That way, regardless of what envelopes you have, I don't think, you know, even the envelopes I have for the 5x7s I have here, I pulled out of Crafter's Companion, you know, sub boxes. Of course, we have tons of these. What's cute about this one, though, I didn't notice there's 5 here, and I thought, okay, that's cool. I want 4 or 5. These are 5x7s, you know, just the regular way that you open them. But these in the back are 5x7s that open at the top, or you know what I'm saying? They're hinged at the top, should I say? So I'm like, that is so cool. So there's 2 different styles of card already in here, and then there were, I think this is more than 5 envelopes though, so I must have grabbed some cards from here. So I'll just leave 5 envelopes on this side, but I measured them. They're 5.25 by 7.25 exactly. So these are a 1/4 inch larger. It kind of blew my mind that I never noticed that the spellbinders, these are spellbinders envelopes and card bases, are like right on it. I mean, this is only the smallest amount bigger than the card base itself. So kind of interesting. And this one we got 1/4 inch all around bigger. So that's good. So I'm going to gear this, the actual book, the case, the binder, to be 5.5 by 7.5, okay? So that's even bigger than this, right? Because this is 7.25 by 5.25. So we're gonna have a little looseness. I kind of wanted it to be snug, but you know, I heard from you guys like, oh, maybe, you know, I mentioned maybe you want to make yours a little bit bigger. Obviously, it depends on your cards and envelopes, but I don't think a standard 5x7 envelope is gonna be that big, right? So I think this will work for everybody without having to do your own math. So that'll be good. So I have my little notes here. Basically going to do the same as last time around, but it's going to be 5x7. Now, let's think about this. If you have a binder, it's 5x7, and your pieces of paper are even 12 inches, or 8.5 by 11, or A4 size, or whatever. What I need is going to have to be 12.5 inches of paper, which I do have some Cricut paper that is that big, and I'm not going to pull that out. So we're going to do the binder itself in probably 2 or 3 parts, because it's going to need a front page, a spine that we're going to have to add to make it 12.5 inches, and then the back page. And the reason I'm at 12.5 inches because I'm going to have the front cover that's 5.5, right, wide. This one has a 1 inch spine and then 5.5 again. So my spine on this new one's going to be 1.5 inches because I'm going to also make the pocket thicker than 1/8 of an inch. This one, did we do 1/8? Yeah, I think we did 1/8. So I'm going to do a 1/4 inch. So having to do that, I don't want this touching the next page so close. So I'm going to give a 1/2 inch gap in the front and a 1/2 inch gap in the back, and these guys are still going to be a 1/4 inch separate. Again, do your own numbers if you know you want something thicker. We're going to still do pockets. I'm probably going to do a belly band type thing so we can tuck things in, which I think would be cute. I'm not going to do an envelope in this one, and maybe, I don't know when I would ever do that, possibly some other time, but for now we're just going to keep it simple again, and then we'll have some fun later. That way I can refer back to this video and say, okay, that's the basic construction, but we're going to add this, you know. So I want to keep this very basic. And then I, you know, in my mind as I'm writing down numbers, I'm like, oh, I just want black paper, like for the card base. Last time we did cream colored. So I have this matte black cardstock. I probably have 10 packs of this stuff. I was buying it all the time, or it was in bundles when I was going crazy buying everything Crafter's Companion. And I actually haven't ordered from them, I think, in over a year. I mean, I buy their stuff other places, but from them themselves, it's been a while. So I'm gonna use this black cardstock. This stuff is super thick. It's 300 GSM, but it's really thick. So it'll add sturdiness, but it'll also add some bulk on its own. So I do have several sheets of that, of course, however much I will need. And then I was like, oh, okay, so what paper pack? So last time I busted out some really old paper packs. They must be at least, I don't even know, 7, 8, 9 years old. Right? Just depending. Those little 6x6. And we can still do 6x6 on this one too, but you have to mat and layer it, you know, for it to work. So I was like, oh, I think in like August or September of last year, I did a huge haul of just like papers because I was like, I didn't need them. I don't need any paper, but I wanted new papers, you know? So when I went to look through those, I have them here in a tub still, like all the same ones. Remember I bought like, from Dream Door or something like that. I can't remember the brand name. And then like just a bunch of cute papers and the Wizard of Oz paper with packs are in there. Anyway, I saw this. I'm digging through my paper and I can see on top. I'm like, oh, this kind of has colors that I would like. And then when I pulled out, I'm like, oh, you know what? This one had 2 paper pads because I remember that's the case. Actually, this is from Crafter's Companion, though it's Knitwit. See, by Crafter's Companion. Got it off of HSN. I think Craig presented it, is what I remember. But look at that. I think these colors, first of all, will go great with the black background, but on top of that, it looks a little old school, doesn't it? It doesn't look like a fresh, like, nowadays design. In my opinion, it looks like some of the papers I used to get, you know, when I was, you know, I don't even know, early 2000s. It really does. But how cute is this paper? So, and I think it'll match up with a lot of Anna Griffin things I have anyway. And then this one also had this paper pack that had die-cut toppers. So there's some stuff I can pop in there. It is shiny, which is not like my super favorite. But you know, to add some of these things in here and there would be really fun too. So it looks like they're doing A2s right here. Did you see this? Like card front. Oh, there's some strips and things. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so this is the paper pack I'm going to gear towards. Pull out whatever you got, of course, that's the whole point. I'm just going to grab dies and different things from wherever. So in this video, it'll probably be, I was thinking maybe only 2 videos, because last time I did 3 videos, but the first one took forever because I was explaining every step of making the binder base. And the second one didn't take so long, and the third one didn't either. So I feel like the 2 and 3 could probably be 1 video. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, what I'm going to do is clear everything off and we're going to get started. Okay, so for me, my whole book, just like I did last time, they are exactly the same. The inserts, you know, these pages are exactly the same as the outside. Now, if you want to make an outside cover that has the, you know, these pocket pages smaller, then, you know, go for it. Do your math. It's all good. I'm going to do it the same as I did last time because I really like the look of that. It looks really nice and just like nice and tight. So I am going to treat the front cover and the back cover, the same as I did these guys, because we're going to add our own spine in here so we can have that 12.5 inches that we need, right? So the front, the back, that's 2 are going to be done the same, and then these 3 insert pocket pages, right? So I need 5 pieces of paper that are all, and I didn't write this down because I only wrote down the cover, but we need them to be 7.5 inches tall by 11 inches wide, because again, I'm doing them all exactly the same except for obviously our cover. So right now I need 5 pieces of paper that are cut down. I already started this one, and then I thought I should talk about it instead of just presenting them cut, but it doesn't really matter. So 7.5 inches tall and 11 inches wide. And right there. And so I need 5 of these, and I'll be right back. So I have all these, and all we're going to do with these guys is basically score them right down the center. Now, if you want, you know, there's so many things, so many different ways to make pockets, so many ways to decorate them, all these different fun things. Like right now, this is just super basic. If you wanted to, you know, cut these in half so you have 5.5 by 5.5, because let's say you wanted to leave it open on the side so you can tuck things into here, you know what I'm saying? Like if this were open, you would just need 2 sheets, and then you're going to glue them together at the spine and then at either side here, but just leave it open here. You can tuck things in. I'm still going to probably leave one open on the top for a little tag place, just because it's cute. But for now, again, you can think about those things. So you can do that before, like right now, you can just cut this in half at 5.5, And then when we glue it into our book, you're just going to glue along there, along this spine edge, and then down at the bottom, and leave this open, you know, so you can tuck things in on the side of the book if you wanted. However you want to do this, it's great. Okay, so with these guys, I'm just going to score them all at 5.5 inches. So 5.5. Just score. This paper is super thick, so we're going to do a couple scorings. Then I'll go in here, and I'll do the same thing with the others. Okay, and I'll be back. So I have all my pages. Again, they're going to be glued just like I did last time. Our tabs are going to be here, like from the spine, and they're going to be glued on. Now we have to do our spine itself. Okay, so I have these guys ready. Now, if you want to do, let's say you have your front and your back, right? We have these guys for the front and the back, 2 of them. I'm going to create a spine just to put them together. I'm not even talking about the binding part of it. I need it to be 1.5 inches, so I'm going to make it so they're 1.5 inches wide, but then I also have 1/2 inch glue tabs that are going to fit into them, right, for them to hold on to, you know, like this, basically. So that 1/2 inch tab is going to be in here. So I need this spine piece to be 2.5 inches by 7.5 inches, right, the same height. If you want to decorate that and put it on the outside, you can definitely do that. You don't have to tuck it on the inside. You can make it this way and make that spine piece come around and maybe do some punching or something. So there's lots of ways to do this. I'm just making it very simple. You can still add another decorative element afterwards. But for now, I'm going to cut a piece of black cardstock, and you can make it a different color if you want. And if, I wish some of this excess I cut off would work, but it doesn't because we used up pretty much most of this paper. So I'm going to cut this down to 7.5 by 2.5 inches, okay? And I'll be right back. So we have our little spine piece that's going to connect these guys. Again, 7.5 by 2.5. And so I'm just going to score it 1/2 inches, and I'm just giving myself 1/2 inch. If you want to do a quarter, do a quarter. It doesn't matter. It's just, I feel like 1/2 inch gives it a little more to hold on to, so it's just a little more substantial. And then I'm going to cut these guys just a little bit divoted in, just so it's not exactly the same. You know what I'm saying? It's just a little more stylized when you cut a little bit away from it like this. So that's just a little nicer than just having this piece that you're still going to see this big, you know, piece of paper here. I don't know. You don't have to do this. It's just a little style. Okay. You guys, I think maybe, who knows? I always think like, oh, that was quick, and then I go to do the video and I'm like, oh, that was an hour long. Right now it feels like we're going right along because I don't have to explain too much like last time. I was explaining a lot about everything that we were doing. So here's our spine that's 1.5 inches. And then this tall. So now all I'm going to do is add these. So what I was trying to say is, let's say you're going to do this and you just want to make this fancy and you're going to cut it and you can put it on the outside. You just have to glue these guys together completely, or however you want to do it if you want to leave a pocket. And then glue this to the outside, and it's going to be fancy, maybe with some die cutting or something cute. Of course, if you have matte layers, you would put those down first and then put this on, and that's what's going to hold your spine. But for me, I'm just going to tuck it right in here. So, again, a wet glue, if you want to use an adhesive runner, you know, go for it. They just, I don't know, don't seem to hold up as well, in my opinion. Now I'm putting the glue on here. I could put it on the tab. I just want to make sure I have my glue on here. And even on this edge, just to give ourselves some real assurance here. And I'm just going to lay that on there, right on the edge. This is our back cover. Our front cover doesn't really matter at this point. But I am going to put glue all straight along here. Really glue that down. Bring this guy down. And before I leave it alone, I'm going to check on this backside and make sure it's nice and look at that. So whenever I talk about attention to detail, guys, when we're talking about swaps or other things, like that's the kind of thing you want to look at. Even when I'm building something like a tonic video, or, you know, a lot of times it'll be like boxes and you want something to be square, like just look at it, make sure the very edge is lined up with the very edge, and you can, you know, give it a little zhuzh, like here if this needs to come out just a little bit. And all those little bits help you just make a nicer project, you know? So as you look at this edge, how that looks, I'm going to pull this out just a little bit. I just brought this towards me and pulled that out a little bit because it needed to come out. Yeah, that's better. But all those things, that's, you know, taking care, and it just comes up with a nicer project when you're done, right? I mean, I'm taking a very long time holding this down because that's what it needs, you know? Okay, and I'm gonna take one more of my pages that we made and do the same thing. Just glue, 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 stick that down, stick this down, and then we're gonna have our front and our, you know, our whole cover, basically. Okay, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Hey guys, so we have this, and I don't have any numbers for this stuff yet because I just planned out like the cover and the inserts, but so you can see it leaves like a little bit of a junction right there. It's hard to see probably on the camera, but it's not even that easy to see. I just want to show it to you guys in case you do want to put another cover and then like maybe, like I said, a piece that covers that up. I don't mind. It looks pretty good. But so the last time, if you guys recall, I went ahead and added a dangle, and then I added it later, and I put it here because the binding's kind of in an odd spot. So this time what I'm going to do is actually go ahead and pop a hole for it first, and that will just be buried there. And I'm actually going to add in, I think, something that hold on to my dangle. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and take a moment to decorate the outside. Now I did want to put a latch on this, but I also want to use, let me see if I can grab it. That's not in there. Some lace. And I was thinking about either adding lace or doing a shaker, so it's not really going to help. I'm not going to be able to put a kleppy, latchy kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? A snap, but basically. I'm still going to do probably a ribbon closure like I did last time. So what I'm going to do is go through my paper and see what it is that I actually want to mat this with. So I'm just going to open these guys up. I mean, there's so many pretty papers in here. Of course, this is probably what I go with, but at the same time, I'm going to cover it up. Actually, I don't have to cover it up. Let me find my lace, and I'll be right back. This is the stuff that I want to use. Let me open this up and see. And this is just to add texture. Again, something fun. Obviously, it's whatever you want to do to your project. This paper is so pretty. I just want to see if the lace is going to end up covering it too much. Like, then what's the point of using that pretty paper, right? Maybe I'll use something else. This stuff is 6 inches wide, so it's really just going to layer on top of there. Oh, that's pretty. You know, with little dots. Oh, just a little red. I kind of still like it over that black paper. You know? I mean, this paper is so pretty. Honestly, when I first got it, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I bought it, obviously, because I thought it was pretty. But, I wasn't, like, super duper. Okay, so I am going to use this paper. And then let me think about what I want to do with that. Let's think. So this is going to sit on top of it. Not completely, because this is 6 inches wide. Actually, we can, because it is 6 inches wide. Hello. I was thinking about using it this direction, I guess, in my mind, you know. But hello, we'll go this way. And okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to cut this down to, this is 5.5 by 7.5, and I like to work in eighths. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces, and I'll probably even cover the back with this same pretty paper, even though I feel like I could save that for something else, but that's okay. We gotta use our paper. So 5.5 by 7.5, I'm gonna go 5 3/8 by 7 3/8 for the front and the back. And then I'll let you know what I cut this spine piece at, okay? I'll be right back. Real quick, and I mentioned things like this, and I'm sure you guys already are probably aware of that. I'm gonna cut this down here at 7 3/8. And if your paper has a direction, definitely pay attention to that, but this one kind of does, I guess, has words, but I'm still, the length of it, right, the height of it is here. 7 3/8, and that way, now we're going to cut our 5 3/8 all at once. So whatever it is that we cut here, 5 3/8. I'm trying to wonder what it leaves me on the other side if I do 5 3/8. The reason I turned it is because maybe this middle piece will be what I would want for the spine anyway, but I think we're just shy of what I would want this to be. Oh no, you guys, I think that's okay. I mean, it's a little different, but why not, right? I would need like a little bit more on this to be exactly what I want, but you know what? That works out. No waste. Perfect. I'll leave it that way. Okay, I'll be right back. Pieces. I was wondering how I'm going to cut my lace, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to cut it right now. I'm going to sew it, and then I'll cut the excess away, or at least I'll cut it off right now. We'll see. I might cut the excess before I sew it. Either way, I'm just using the paper itself to kind of guide where I'm cutting. But if you have rollers, which I have all that kind of stuff for quilting, but it's not that necessary. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't want people to feel like they need to have certain things to get something done. Now we can make this into a shaker if you want to pop some stuff in there, but I don't know. I'm just trying to think if I want to make it a little bit smaller, just so we see some of the edge, you know, like this kind of a thing, and sew it on. I think I do. So if I do that, let's say like this much. I'm just eyeballing this. I'm using my paper as a guide, so whatever is here, I'm going to cut off of this, and that'll split the difference for me, basically. I'm being very careful. And this is just me, you know, flying by the seat of my pants, guys. I'm not doing anything super specific, as you can see. Even this top part, it's cut like on the selvage edge, and I like the way it looks, but I guess I can use pinking shears to do that if I wanted. Okay. Yeah. Now I'm going to take this to my sewing machine. I just have a little dinky sewing machine that I like to play with here, and I'm just going to sew this. Just hold on to it and go through there, and it'll just be something extra, okay? So I will be right back. So, you know what? I went ahead and did all my little going around everything, and I think what I'm going to do, hopefully this thing loosens up, let's go, is go ahead and shaker it. Why not? Now you can tell my tension is like way off because it's pretty flat down here, but that's okay. So I'm going to put a few little Nuvo, this stuff right here is my favorite. I don't even know if they still have it. This light gold pure sheen sequins, because they're like small and they're just so cute. So I'm going to pop a few in here and see if you can even see them. I don't know. We'll see. Not too much again, you know how I do. And what I did is I already sewed around the 3 edges, so if you're thinking that it's all going to fall out, I went down here, the sides, and up the side. I just left the top open, or the bottom. It doesn't really matter, I guess. Like I said, depends on your direction. I guess the paper does have a direction, which is also what I said. And I'm going to put in some of this pink 221. Now this one might fall out a little bit because it has little tiny pieces in there. I don't know if you can see. It's the pieces that pop out of the center of the circles. That might come through the lace, but I'm not too concerned about that. And I think that'll be it. Let's see. There's just a little something you can see in there without being too much. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just sew this up right across the top. And I will finish up. Do a little back stitch on that one. Alright. So, I brought that back. And it's like messy, and I kind of want to leave it like that. You know, maybe some of these other ones will. But like, just leaving those little bits. And if that bothers you, you can cut them down, or obviously you're going to do whatever you want with your book. So this is going to be my front piece. Again, we just cut that, and it just seems to me to work out. I'm just going to pop that on there. I don't know what I was going to say. And this guy on the back. And again, I went with 7/8, so it is just a little bit smaller than everything, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and do another ribbon closure, because by the time I do a snap on this, it's that, it's the 2 sheets of really thick 300 GSM. I just don't think it's going to work, and I don't want to cut through this either, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to just grab however much of this, maybe a foot or so, and this is just ribbon from the Dollar Tree. And when I go to glue this down, I'm going to stick that down too. So let me just move these to the side, one for the front and one for the back. However, and oh, I was going to lose that one. I think last time I stuck them down with a little of this just to help reinforce my little ribbon. So I'll put that right to the edge as much as I can. I guess I could get a little bit closer. Have you guys tried out the other size yet? Let me know. I know a lot of you guys were like, oh, I want the 5x7. I just realized you still have to make the pockets and all that. I think that's what ended up taking time, because I'm like, oh, I'm almost done with the cover, but we still need to make our pages and pockets. But I'll just leave you guys like I did last time, just letting you know I'll do them all the same, but they're not going to be exactly the same. Okay. So now if you want this to be exactly like center, you can pay attention. 7.5, right? So 1, 2, 3, 3.5, plus into a little extra, it'd be like in here somewhere, but it's wherever you want to put it. All right, 1, 2, 3, and a little extra or so. Okay, now I'm going to glue this guy down. Hot glue, this glue, whatever glue you like. runner, whatever it is that you want. I'll put that pin back in the other bottle. There we go. Now we're getting quite a bit. Give it a little zhuzh. Put that piece underneath there. This one here. And then I'll do the same thing with the back. Just kind of eyeballing what's going on. Let me just keep this down for a second. I'll go ahead and adhere this one, and then before I put this down, I'll show you how I line them up. I'll say one thing about this paper, it's a little bit warpy. I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, it's not super thin. Kind of weird. I've never really seen that happen. Okay. So let's say about that, I can see that here. It just wants to like come up instead of just sticking down. Okay. So here, all I'm going to do is close this up like this, and then I can see on this side, you know, where this guy should go. So they're basically the same. Something like that. Okay. That's it. And then I'm just going to glue this one down on top of that. Okay, guys, so this is what the outside looks like for right now. Just a little interesting little shaker. That's actually really fun. And if I close it up, it looks something like this. We have this guy here. So what I'm going to do before I add a spine, the binding edge, I'm going to pop some holes in this. Now this might be a little weird, I don't know. It's just an idea I had and I think it'll work. So if you want to use eyelets to set it, you know, to make it look that much nicer, go for it. I'm just going to put a couple little holes. So this 1/8 inch. And I'm just going to add a loop that later I'll be able to hang a dangle from. And I'm just eyeballing this clearly. I'm going to put one hole right here and let this go because it's set at somewhere. And then, so I can see, I'm going to bring it down a little bit. I should do this in a way that is more professional, but that's all right. I'm going to put another little hole right here. Actually, I can pop them both out that same hole. Huh. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Okay, no, I'm just going to leave that one hole. And I'll show you what I'm going to do. I have a little piece of head pin here that was laying here from just literally finishing up the other dangle that you saw in the other project. And what I think I'm going to do is right in the center here. I don't even know if this is going to work. We'll see. I'm going to make like a little loop. Okay, I'm just making it like a U. And then I'm going to flatten it out. So I'll have this turn this way. Actually, I guess I can just use my fingers or use the tool I got myself at Daiso yesterday. You know what? That's too high. Like there. Maybe here. That might be sticking out too far. Let me bend this. Yeah, I need the other tool. That's okay. I'm just using my fingers. This hurts, so don't do that. You guys at home, don't do this because it's a very small little piece. Literally, because I'm not going to get up and find another piece. So I made like this weird little shape. And what I'm going to do with this is push it out of this hole so it brackets over here, okay? So I think I might have to tighten it up a little bit. So say I think I might have made it too... Might be sticking out a little too much, but let's see. Let's push this through there. Now I have this little thing that's going to hold on to my piece. That's funny. Oh my gosh. I actually like that a lot. I might bring it in a little bit and then flatten it out over here just a little bit more. So I'm going to work on that just to make it a little bit shorter so it comes in just a little bit more. I don't need this whole big thing sticking out. But yeah, that's how I'm going to do that so that later I can add a dangle and it's right in the center. Okay? Okay, guys. So all I did was flatten it out just a little bit more, made it a little bit smaller so it's not sticking out super. So we're going to leave that there and it's going to glue in once we get our spine going, or the binding. How fun! I think that's going to work. Okay. We need, this is a scrap of paper that I have left over from cutting that 2.5 inches by 7.5 here. And I do have notes on this one, so how big does this need to be? I know 7.5 for sure. By 4.5. So I'm going to cut this piece down 7.5 by 4.5, okay? And I'll be right back. So I said 7.5 by 4.5. I did cut it just slightly smaller than 7.5. That way, you know, when it's in here, it's not just like sticking out and you see all the ridges or whatever, and then I mean, literally probably 7 and 7/16 or something. Just a little bit smaller. Okay. And so on this one, what we are going to do is our binding edge. Again, it's just these little tabs that we have to create to hold our pockets. These little tabs. There's tabs in here that are sticking out like to here, maybe, if you can see that. And then our pockets are holding on, or our pages. So the way I did it is I'm gonna have a 1/2 inch gap at the beginning because we're gonna make a 1/4 inch pocket on this back page on the front page and on the back page, plus giving it another 1/4. So I'm gonna do 1/2 inch here. Okay, and from there I'm gonna go 1/2 inch because that's gonna be my first tab that goes up, and then that tab needs to go back down, so another 1/2 inch. And after that I only want a 1/4 inch gap, so after that I'm gonna do a 1/4 inch. I'll tell you these numbers again in a minute. And then from there I want a 1/2 inch tab that goes up and back down, so 1/2 inch up, and then a 1/2 inch from there is back down. And then I need a 1/4 inch gap from that guy. And then the last bit is 1/2 inch from there. And then a 1/2 inch back down on that last tab. And that leaves us a 1/2 inch gap at the end, which is what we started off with. So 7.5, just a little bit smaller, by 4.5, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, right? And then from there, a 1/4 inch, so that's 1 3/4. And then you're going to do 1/2 and 1/2 again, and I don't want to do the math for that. So 1/2, and then 1/2 again, that gives you that one at 2 3/4. So this one's at 2 1/4, I guess. 1/4 inch from there, 1/2, 1/2. Say it again. 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/4, 1/2, 1/2, 1/4, 1/2, 1/2, and then we have that 1/2 inch. So what we're going to do is on those 1/2 inch up and downs, not this first gap, I'm just going to fold it. You can fold this however you need to fold it, or want to make this work. So that first, and then this guy can come back this way, and that's actually what's going to be glued down. This first 1/2 inch piece, it will be glued there. But this second set of 1/2 inch marks are going to be the first set of glue tab, and you do want to take the bulk off that as much as you can. That means really score it, right? So that's up and down glue tab. And then we have a 1/4 inch gap, and then we have another set of 1/2 inch spaces. So I'm going to go right in that middle of that one and kind of give it a pinch. That way I don't have to like really mess with the 1/4 inch part. I can just kind of get it from here, right? And again, take the bulk off that as much as you can, and that just means flattening them out as much as you can. And that already created that next 1/4 inch piece that's going to be glued down. 1/2 inch piece glued down, 1/4 inch piece glued down, half, you know, the 1/2 up and down. We have another 1/4 inch gap, so I'm going to go into this next inch space where we have the 1/2 up and 1/2 down. And as I pinch that, I've pretty much already created that last set. And I've shown this over and over and over in many videos. I hope that was slow enough because I feel like I went over it quite a bit. I do like to train these flaps to go front and back as much as they can because it'll help your pages. So there we have it. Okay, so I'm going to show you now. I'm going to use a wet glue because it holds up better over time. And these 1/2 inch spaces that goes up and back down, we're going to glue this together right on the edge because that's what I prefer, so that you know it's going to stay. So there's our first set. Little gap we're going to hold together. The 1/2 inch tab that goes up and down, we have a 1/4 inch gap. These two need to also be glued together, so I'm going to put glue all down there. I kind of want to go faster on this because I am going to be here for quite some time if I'm not. So it's going to look something like that, right? This next set of those 1/2 inch ups and downs need to be glued together. And we only have 3 sets of that, so this is the next one. And I'm just putting it on here because I know I don't care if the glue spills out on there. And then we have one more set, right? This, and there we go. 1, 2, 3. 3 pages that we're going to attach to that, and then we have our front and back page. And then this guy is just going to glue in here. I'm probably going to take a little bit off of this now that I see, because I think it's a little bit too thick, but that's okay. and I'll be back. Okay, guys, so we have this pretty much ready to go. Like I said, for some reason, you know, this is handmade. This is an 1.5 inch gap. I don't know what happened. This one is an 1.5 inch, but this one's a little bit bigger than this. So what I'm going to do is just take a little bit off of both edges. Again, handmade, you know, whatever. I probably went a little too small on this, like with the 1.5, it probably is like 1 3/8 or something, you know. So I'm going to just take a little bit off of this with my guillotine, and I'll be right back. So you just took like the smallest sliver off of that. Okay, so we're going to pop this through. Again, I want that to be on the other side. And basically, we're just going to put tons of glue on this. So you can put it on this, so you can put it on the base, wherever it is that you need to put your glue, so that this centerpiece will stay nice. Oh my gosh, you guys, I feel like this video is going to take longer than I thought. And I put tons of glue, and I'm going to put tons of glue in this area too, especially, because I want that to hold on nicely. I'm going to pop this through. Now, you don't have to do this if you're not going to put it dangle. I don't know why I don't want to touch glue. I'm like, oh no, glue. It's just glue. Just pop that through again. Okay. Oh, nope. Now I want to stick to my finger. Stay there. Okay. Now we're going to bring this guy back and just nestle it in here. The other thing I did last time, and I didn't do it right now, but I'll do it after I set this up, is if you want to trim these guys down a little bit just so that they're a little less bulky at the tops, all you do is take a little divot off of these. I'm going right towards the end and just taking a little triangle off. That one can be done a little bit nicer. So right now what I focus on is making sure that this is in here, like really in here. Okay. And what I mean by that is I will pick it up like this, I'll look in there, making sure it's really nice and flat against that back wall there, and here too. And I have my little piece, my little guys right here, which is awesome. Love it. I'm probably going to pull it out so he's a little bit flat like this. Okay? As you can see, it's kind of sticking out. And that's just something I thought of doing. You don't have to do that, of course. Okay, I'm just going to wait until everything is set up, and that is basically the book itself, right? The binder, the outside part. And we're going to add our pages. Okay, so I'll just check that out. I think we're good. We're going to put that to the side for now. Okay, so every page that we're going to attach to those little binder pieces, the little tabs that are in there, you can do lots of different things. Again, you can glue them down, glue it in the bottom, leave the top open so then you have a little place to put tags. You can cut into this with like a little half a circle to make it look cute. I do have a piece, actually this is more of a scrap piece, but we are going to use this. This is, so how high do you want your pockets? What do you want them to look like? That's up to you, of course. What I'm going to do is 4.5 high on this one. But whenever I do the pockets, I feel like they should all be the same. So this is going to be 4.5 high by 6.5 wide, because these are 5.5 inches wide, right? And I'm going to make them basically the same. So let me just make sure this is 4.5. I think it's just a little bit bigger than that. If you want to cut into it like with a punch and make it look really decorative, you might want to do like 5 inches tall or whatever. Something that's going to give you a little more, so when you punch into it, it's not going to leave you like the shortest pocket in the world. And then 6.5 this way. I'll do the outer pockets on the front and back cover and stuff. I don't know why I did it different last time. I did the pockets and then I went and did the pages. So however you want to set it up, whatever's best for you. So we have one of our pages right here. We have one pocket that's going to be on one side for now, and then I'll do the other side the same. Or, you know, like I said, I want to kind of play with doing like a belly band and things like that. So pockets, belly bands, inserts, tucks, whatever it is you want to do, that's up to you. So again, 4.5 by 6.5. I'm just going to go 1/2 inch on either side, and then at the bottom, or just on one side, on the long side. Doesn't matter. And this is just how I'm going to make my little pocket. Super simple. And then we'll add some pretty paper in just a minute. So I'm just cutting into near where we have this little square that we're just going to cut off, but I kind of do it in a divoted way so that it folds nicer. And then I'm just going to fold this up, and this is going to be our base pocket. And I am going to tuck paper behind it all the way down that will cover this, because sometimes if you have your pocket here and you go to slide something else in, it'll kind of hit that. And then, you know, it's obviously you can get around it. It's not a big deal, but it's better if it's just not there to begin with. One gal left a tip saying if you want to put Scotch tape in that area so then it slides easily, but for me, I don't know how I would get the Scotch tape in there once it's stuck down, but I'm assuming you glue it, put a piece of Scotch tape here so it'll just slide in easier, and then add your sides, you know, however it is. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to slide a whole piece of paper in there, basically, that's matted in there. That'll make it easier. So this is a simple pocket. Super easy. I'm just going to add it. And then we will matte layer it and all that kind of fun things. All that kind of fun things? All those kind of fun things. I'm trying to think if I want this. I think I do. So I'm putting it so that these tabs are under this tab. Because I just think that that's better for now. It doesn't really matter because, like I said, we're going to add our paper in there. So I'm just going to pop this down, pop this guy down, and then make sure that bottom tab is behind them, basically. And I am keeping this super straight as I can. We'll hold that down. And then, you know, as you're designing, last time what I did is I was in my car and I was actually waiting for the kids to get picked up, and I'm just cutting and doing things, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about one page matching with the other one. Like, whatever I put on this page to matte and layer should coordinate with what we do over here, you know, right? I mean, it's all from the same paper pack. And then we're gonna stick that on, and then whatever we do here should coordinate with that next page. So I'm gonna cut one more pocket. Yeah, I'm gonna do another pocket. Add it here. The same thing, same what I just did. I'm just gonna add it here, and I'll be right back. You guys, I could sit here and make these all day. So much fun. So I just added that pocket, same thing as I did over here. So now we have what looks like this, right, from our pages. So I think this is, I did 4.5. I took 1/2 inch for the glue tab, right? So this is 4 by 5.5. So I'm going to layer this with some paper that is 3 7/8 by 5 3/8 because I like the 8s. If you don't like 8s, do, you know, 3 3/4 by 5 1/4 or whatever. And then the paper that's going to go in here is going to be very much the same thing. So this is 5.5 by 7.5. So I'm going to cut that paper to 5 3/8 by 7 3/8 because I'm going to let it go all the way down because I have plenty of paper and it's 12 by 12. When I had the 6 by 6 paper pad, it's a little bit different, but I was trying to be tight with my paper, and then I thought, you know what, let's not do that. Let's just complete the whole thing. So again, if you don't like 8s, then do 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. But I'll be right back with some paper that I'm going to tuck on this side. Okay. So I'm just cutting these straight again, you know, whatever fun things you want to do. I just used that same paper from the front. And then I grabbed this one, which is just stripe. I thought that was really nice to coordinate with this. So we are going to put glue on this. I don't know if I'm going to put glue all the way down to the bottom. We will see, because what happens is I should probably use a craft glue. Oh, should I use my craft glue? I'm going to slide this in there. Look at the bottle. Just hates me. It just, look at this. I just cleared it out and I still can't get that going. Come on. There we go. There's something in there that's obviously, maybe I got it out now. But either way, so I'm putting glue all the way down to the sides. Like I said, I don't know how much I'm going to put on the edge. I'm just going to, yep, there's a little something that was bothering. All right. And again, this is, I'm going to close this before it dries up on me. 5 3/8 by 7 3/8, right? So I'm going to slide this in, and for the same reason I'm doing this, we might encounter that it's going to get stuck at that very bottom. So I'm just going to do this carefully as I slide this in. Slide, slide, slide. Ooh, perfect. I was able to slide it in a way that just, we're trying to clear that bump, right? That tab that we made down at the bottom, just to make sure everything that we put in here will slide in nicely. And that looks pretty good. Again, I'm keeping it super straight. If you want fun things you want to do, go for it. On this first page, I'm just going to put in paper mats for a card that is, you know, 5 by 7. So that's what I'm hoping to do. And then we have just this little piece here. If you want to do some inking, distressing, all that kind of fun stuff, go for it. Most time I forget to do that. That's why I don't do it. I do like the way it looks when you notch out a little hole. I think that's pretty cute. And maybe we'll do it with this one. And you're going to say like afterwards, but you can. If you have these little guys and trust yourself. You can still slide it in there because you have plenty of room, so you can just slide it in there and then just make yourself a little hole. They do have mid points, so you can definitely pay attention to that, and it'll help you just punch a little thing. So maybe I'll do that, just to add a little something else. Okay. So that is essentially what's going to be the front of our first page, and that's going to get glued on here. And so I'm going to mat this second page the same way you saw me do this, okay? Just with different papers. And I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so I just finished that one. Again, that's what the inside of the page looks like, because we're going to stick it to our book like this. So this page, it has like something like that, and this other side I just chose these houndstooth and whatever other pattern was on there. And so I will glue these in here when I'm ready. I think I kind of do like making this and having it ready, because otherwise this is going to be sitting here while I try to make my pocket over here. So either way, I'm kind of jumping ahead. So on this next one, I think for this next page, remember we have still 2 more to be inserted here and here. I'm going to do a belly band one on this one, because on this page I was going to do just paper like I did before with the Deconstructed card kit. And I was just thinking, did I call this a Deconstructed card kit at the beginning? Sorry guys. The point of this is to make cards. So if you want to gift it to somebody, they have everything ready to go. All they got to pull things out and just put it together. Or if you want to get this ready, and then when you're ready to make a thank you card or just a hello or, you know, a sympathy card, you have everything ready to go and you just pull it out and everything's already coordinated and it's going to look lovely. So we have this page. On this page, I'm going to put a belly band. So for this one, all I'm going to do simply is cut myself a piece of matte layer okay. Again, this one's just going to have paper that's pretty, so the person can die cut or cut it down however they want or use it. Sorry guys, my son called me and told me a lot of stories, and I'm like, is he trying to tell me he got in an accident? But no, he was just letting me know. He's taking a long time for that reason. Today, well, I'll put this video out probably on Wednesday, obviously, but is the first day he's gone on campus for class since March of 2020, you guys. He's in college. Yeah, they've been online. So anyway, okay, so this is going to be on here. Matte layers, they're just paper. Over here I wanted like larger kind of matte layers that you would put on the card. And then here on this page, what I would tuck in here or put in here is other layers like toppers, right? You know, where this one might be really big as a background, this one might be smaller or topper pieces or however. So on this one I'm going to do a belly band. So I'm going to cut down a piece of paper that's pretty to, I wrote it down actually, well, the same thing that I've been telling you guys, 5 3/8 by 7 3/8. And then the belly band part, I think I'm going to cut a piece of paper that is 1.5 inches by 8 3/8, okay? And I'll tell you why in just a minute, because we're going to do some scoring on that. So again, matte layer, that's 5 3/8 by 7 3/8. Again, if you don't like 3/8, do 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. And then this piece I'm going to cut so that the little belly band tucks in behind our matte layer. It's going to be 1.5 by 8 3/8, okay? And I'll be right back. This is funny. So the paper I'm using is Crafter's Companion, that black matte cardstock, and it is A4 size, so it's not 8.5 inches wide. So when I went to cut this, I was like, okay, 1.5 inches, and then I was like, it's only like 8 1/4. So I'm just going to split the difference when I go to use it, but otherwise I would give myself 1/2 inch tabs, right? That's why I did 8 3/8. We'll see if I can get it from this piece without having to like waste another piece of paper. This guy, I just cut from that same piece from over here, so it's going to coordinate real nice on the opposite page. Look how cute. And I'm going to make the belly band. So what I was going to do is make a belly band and then just matte layer over it. So, but then I thought, well, what if I use one of my, again, bust it out. We got to bring some stuff out. So I made this 2 inches wide when I said it was going to be 1.5. So 2 inches wide, because I'm going to punch this. And I'm just going to start in the center because that's normally how we do it. And then you just eyeball, you know, well, you don't eyeball, but you use the guides here to help you punch nicely. Keep going. And that takes off quite a bit. So to be honest, I probably should have gone like 2.5 inches. It just depends on the punch. Some take off 1/4 inch when you punch. Some take off like 1/2 inch when you punch. It just depends. So now I'm eyeballing over here. You know, this guide, I'm using it to help me punch the other side. And I'll do the same on the other side. So since I used the puncher on the page the other day. I went out to the garage and brought in pretty much all the punches I still have left of my Martha Stewart punches. And this is one of them. So again, over here, I'm going to start right in the center-ish, kind of eyeballing, because I didn't really mark it, so I'm just looking to see if these are about the same. And then I'll keep punching just like I did, over to the left and then over to the right, or however. Let's see here. Okay, and I'll finish up this other side of this. So, all we're going to do is, you know, it covers up that whole butterfly. I know. Well, I guess I could do it this way, if you wanted to tuck things in that way. Or even on the side. It doesn't have to actually, you know what? I'll do it like that. I'll put it out here. Because it'll still hold things. It doesn't have to be right down the center, right? I mean, it can be whatever you want. So, yeah, maybe I'll do it over there. Okay, so what I want to do is, again, this still did give me quite a bit of a length there because I gave myself a whole 1/2 inch tab, right? So a whole extra inch. What I'm going to do is turn this over. Just kind of see where we're at. Where are we? Let's see. Maybe, you know, maybe this way. That'll look better. Oh, yeah, right there. Okay, I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to give myself some score lines. Just using the paper as my guide. See? And we're going to fold that over. Same thing over here. I'm going to just use my paper as my guide, give myself a little score line, and fold that over. And that's how I'm going to make this belly band. But you can do whatever you like, of course. I'm going to put some glue here, and then all over this page, because I'm just basically going to put this down on my paper. Put some glue on the opposite side, of course, because we need it on both sides. I think I cleared out whatever was clogging up my glue, which is great. Okay, so again, this is just our sheet here, and I'm going to put this on here. I like to give it a zhuzh. What I mean by that is, like, I put it in a place where I can still kind of move it so that the glue spreads out instead of just holding on in one spot. Okay, so for this one, I'm just going to really make sure that I'm paying attention to this area because I want that to stay down. Right, the little tabs in the back, and then this is open to hold stuff because it's our belly band. Alright, and I'm not going to glue this in yet either, but this one will be here and here, right, and on, well, open up, buddy, there we go. So those two, and on this side I think I'm still going to make a regular pocket. So on this side I'm just going to make a pocket just like I did here. Okay, same thing. Okay, guys, so I'm going to check in with y'all because the last thing I said is I was just going to put a pocket on this other side, right? We have our belly band on this other side, same pocket kind of situation, which is what I did. And then I went ahead and did another pocket on this one, our last page, because it'll be these two guys facing each other, and I just still changed up the papers because I thought it looked fine. How cute. Like the little stripes and all that. But on this last one, before we do our envelopes back here, I think we're going to do 2 pockets, right? Why not? So I think what I'm going to do for this one is go ahead and cut just a mat that's the whole, oh yeah, I have this piece of paper that'll work for that. Just a big background piece, this houndstooth. 5 3/8 by 7 3/8. Again, 5 1/4 by 7 1/4 if you don't want to do 8s, and I'll be right back. So I went ahead and cut that mat layer. And for this one, this is the one in the back, you know, I'm going to do 2 little pockets because I figure sometimes you have sentiments or other die cuts that are kind of small, you might want a smaller pocket. So I just kind of made something up and I think this will work. So again, you can do 2 skinny pockets, like one that goes across here and one that goes across here, or maybe a belly band up here and a pocket here, whatever it is that you want to do. Of course, the world is your oyster. So let me see, what did I cut this at? I don't even remember. I just kind of made it 4 by 3. So 4 by 3. And on the 4-inch side, we're going to score it at 1/2 inch off either side. So 4-inch side, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. And then on the 3-inch side, we'll score it at 1/2 inch. And we're just going to have these little pockets, and we'll decorate them in just a minute. And I might go ahead and do the little circle thing on this one. Oh, that one's already cut and up. Okay, so all I'm going to do is fold these guys up. And since I'm not going to put a little thing behind them to make it, you know, easier in case something catches on this one, that's not my concern for this pocket. What I'm going to do is go ahead and see about a matte layer for this. Let me see, it's 3 by 2.5, right? So if this is 3 by 2.5, I'm going to cut little pieces of paper that, actually I probably have plenty of scraps here that'll work. I do. Oh, yeah. That are 2 3/8 by, I said 2.5? So 2 3/8 by 2 7/8, okay? 2 3/8 by 2 7/8 for both of them. And I'll be right back. Bummer, the ones I had that were were big enough for this were not what I wanted. Actually, it was more of this houndstooth and then some other ones. So I was like, nah. So I just cut another piece of paper, which I'll probably use for matte layers anyway, for the deconstructed cards. Oh my goodness, how cute. So I'm gonna do that, let that set up, and then I am gonna cut into them with these little guys. I don't know about this one, maybe this 1/2 inch or maybe the 1 inch. Maybe this guy. So I'll be back. Stuck that down. And then these guys. And what I'm going to do with these guys is I'm just going to eyeball it. Of course, we have the, like, what's straight here, but we don't really know left to right, right? So again, if you're afraid of doing this, don't do it. I'm a little bit afraid myself, but that's okay. And hopefully, I was just going to say, this is really thick stuff. I don't even know if it's going to punch. I am going to try my hardest. Ooh. I'm going to have to put this down. And put everything I have into it. Alright guys, I'm going to keep working. There I go. There I go. I'm going to keep working on this. I'll be right back. One's going to have a punch and then one doesn't, because I am not going to do that again. That was really hard. So I'm good with just the one. I know it looks a little odd, but that's okay. Now where do I want this pocket? I feel like this pocket needs to be further down, because if you put stuff in there you don't want it sticking out completely, but at the same time I want these to kind of match up where they're at. So let's put them like there and there. Okay, something like that. Oh, no. So I'm going to glue this down. And again, I'm going to glue it so that this guy's on the outer side. You know what I'm saying? When I bring it down, that piece is on the outside, and like in here. Seems good. I'm going to hold that down for a little bit, and then I'll do the same thing with this guy. Just hold him down like right here. Okay, I'll be back. Kept some weights on there. Alright, so that's going to be the very back page. So we have all our pages basically, and then we are going to work on the front and the back. So I cut these pockets down, and these are cut to, let me get this right, 7 by 5 1/4. Okay, so these are what's going to hold our cards and our envelopes. So 7 by 5 1/4, and I cut 2 of them because we need one for the front and one for the back. So 7 by 5 1/4, and we are going to do the same thing all around here. Well, not all around. There's going to be one area where we don't, but on 3 sides, we're going to do a 1/2 inch. That's our glue tab, and we're going to do a 1/4 inch because that is our space that we're going to make our pocket a 1/4 inch thick. Okay, so 1/2 inch and then a 1/4 inch, and let me ask my son to close his door. I'll be right back. Sorry. So 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch. So we did that all around. And last time, you know, I cut some things here, cut something. However it is you want to do it. Basically, let me just cut this piece off. Well, okay. We're going to make a pocket here. But the pocket's going to have some lift to it, right? It has this 1/4 inch. Do you want to keep this little piece and like tuck it in here, or just leave it open? That's up to you. I think I'm just going to cut it away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this for sure. I don't remember what I did last time, so I'm just going to cut that for now. And then, like, you know, I'm just cutting this whole thing away. Also, this is going to be like the little glue tab area, so I'm going to cut that right to that score line. And it's quite possible I want to cut away this whole score line, but I don't right now because I want those to match up to make the little pocket. So that one gets cut away and that one gets cut away. You can also even cut away up here at the top of your pockets. I haven't been doing that, but it does make it look a little nicer, right? So let me move this. I realized last time I kept scoring on my scoreboard, and the scoreboard has ridges, so it's like it's not great. Okay, so we're going to score on both of those lines. So now we have this 1/4 inch gusset, right? That space that's going to help us put our cards in. Last time I did 1/8 of an inch, and it might have been a little too little for y'all. I did hear from some people. So this time I'm making a 1/4 inch pocket. And just score it real well. I'll do the same thing with the other one. And since I have so much space, I'm not super worried about things hitting this part of, you know, this bottom part. So I have this piece that's cut from another piece, you know, everything's like 5 3/8 and then 7 3/8. So this is the leftover piece of that. So I can still use it, and that's gonna go right here. I didn't even have to do anything to it. And this here. And then this part. So let me measure that actually. I think it should be 5 1/2, like legit. Yeah, 5 1/2. A little bit bigger than that, hopefully not. 5 1/2 by 4 1/2. So I'm gonna cut a piece of paper that's 5 3/8 by 4 3/8 to mat over this, okay? I'll be right back. So here's this stuff. And so what I'm gonna do is just bring this over here. This is our front. And I'm just gonna glue that down. So I do want to come towards the inside. Everything needs to really want to be pushed towards the inside, okay? And again, I'm going to put this little piece so it tucks behind. So once it's glued down, it's kind of already pushed back, this piece. So we're going to put glue here, all the way to the edge. Here. And this one, it is important to put it all the way to the edge. That way it's kind of stuck down. It makes it harder for card stock or whatever you stick in there to bump it, basically. Okay. And I'm going to bring this over here. And we're just going to place it right down, making sure our book, that this is the front, or else it'll be upside down. And that's it, guys. Look at that. I love it. I love it. These are so fun to make. So I'll tell you, I could just do this all day. Used to make mini albums all the time. Remember those junk mail mini albums we would make and all these different things. So what I do is I try to get my ruler in there, or something that helps me kind of make sure we're getting good contact here and have a good box shape, right? Because we're basically made like a little box. So I'm really pushing that out, making sure that box shape is there. Making sure it's all at the bottom, making sure this is there at the side. We can stand it up, make sure that pocket's good, and that when we close it, as it pushes against the spine, that it's where it needs to be. So that spine is really just helping us out. Cool. So I'll tell you, it took up that whole spine. I don't know what happened. I did have 1 1/2 inches. It got eaten up. So if you want to just make sure you have 1 1/2 inches, I think mine's probably like 1 inch. I mean, look, it's 1 1/2 inches, but I lost like a 1/16 of an inch, maybe on either side or something. So this is right there, but that's okay. I just wanted to accommodate this, basically, and I have some extra, so that's fine. But yeah, just, you know, keep eyeballing all that, making sure everything's good. And then on the side edge, you know, I just try to make sure everything is where it needs to be. So again, sliding my ruler in there. Looks pretty good. And I'm just going to pop this piece in here. I think this is the side. Yeah. So I can definitely use the same piece on the other side. I just don't like being too matchy-matchy. I try to do a little different. So this side, I'm going to use the opposite page, side of the page. But if you want all your pages just to kind of go across like a scrapbook page from one to the other, then do that. It's awesome. All right. Let's put these over here. And I'm going to do the same thing to my back page. Literally the exact same thing. So I'm just popping this in here. Sorry, I'm trying to be in frame for you guys, but at the same time, I don't have enough room behind me to do all that. Oh my goodness, you guys. I was like, this will be a quick video, I think. No. And then this guy, I'm just going to put him on here. Now, did I judge how I did the other one? Let me see. Yeah, so this pocket is taller. If you want it to be the same as like this pocket because that bothers you, then just make it the same as this pocket. It's not a big deal. I was just like, what do I want to hold the cards and how do I want the cards to be in there? And, you know, so basically, I want it to be a little higher up to hold the cards a little better. That's all. So if you don't like that, take that 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch less or whatever it is. Okay, I'm going to do the exact same thing on the back, and then we're just going to put it together, guys, and we're done for today as far as the basic binder. I'm just adding this last little piece of this pocket over here. Yeah, so if you wanted to do the little punches, if you don't, you know, a die would work because you could just put it through your machine and the die will smash right into that. But if you do these, like I did on the first video, do one layer and then do the other layer. This paper is like exceptionally thick. So I didn't even think about that. These punches, you know, they're okay, but they can't do everything. All right, so there's that. And here are my envelopes. Let's see. Moment of truth. All right, perfect. In there. Oh, there we go. We got caught in that plastic that's on here. And then these guys, I'm so like just fascinated that they have those ones that fold on the top. That's so fun. Okay, put this over here. I think my glue's dry, so I think I can do this and not have a problem. So as it is right now, there's the binder with 5, actually has a ton of envelopes and 5 cards. You guys, look at, okay. Those don't have to be in there, obviously, for this part. Okay, and I'll bring back my pages and just making sure I have them set up the way I wanted. So this one goes here, and then this one. Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do, and I've been doing, is I'm going to close this one up completely. So I am closing the top all on the edge because this is what's going to be touching that glue tab. So definitely you want 1/2 inch at least there. And then here, at the bottom, you can put some down the side if you want. And then this other side also needs glue because that's going to be touching the other side of the glue tab. So you can play with this kind of thing. If you want it to be something that opens up, like you can definitely do that. You don't have to glue it shut or glue it the way I have it right now. Maybe glue one side in, put like something pretty, and then make it so that this page keeps opening up. I'm going to add this on there, and then I'm going to bring this over to close it up just on that glue tab. I guess I can move these things. So I'm just holding it down. I have it really flat. And I'm paying attention to up and down, you know, where it is on this area here. And like I said, I'll bring in like my tools, anything I can squeeze in there that helps me push the glue against the tab. I will do that. And then once I think it's pretty set up, I'll stand it up just to make sure we're still looking good. Top and bottom and all that. And see, you gotta still hold it. So it does take a minute. Again, I'm using a wet glue. So I'm just kind of pinching it up here. I'm gonna hold it the whole time. Pinch down here, make sure this is staying closed for a good while, guys. I'll hold this for minutes. Just massaging it, making sure everything's good. Glued. Okay, and I'll come back. Unfortunately, I was going to say I can just move on and do this, but I want to show you how I make the pocket at the top, which is nothing, it's no big deal. But I do kind of want to make sure this is set up before I move on to the next page, so I will be back. Let this go. What I do like is with these tabs, I kind of, at the very beginning, I don't know if you noticed, I was flattening them out left and then right, just so that they have some movability. I'm not going to do it right now because this is still wet. For this next one, I am just going to put glue down the side. Down the side here. As much glue as you want or as little, but if you put a ton of glue like this way, you're going to make that pocket even smaller. So just there and then down at the bottom. And then on this side over here. Sorry if it's out of frame. I'm just trying to get my glue for my glue tab. Again, those glue tabs are about 1/2 inch, so that's about how much you want to do. And so I didn't put any glue on the top. That's going to make a pocket for us to slide a tag in and out of or whatever you want to put in there. So just that, and then again close it up. So it's on one side of the tab and on the other side of the tab. And now all we have to do is massage this and this base piece just to make sure everything's touching. And then once I think we're good, I'll stand it up again, just making sure that, you know, if I need to push it down, we'll do that, and then keep it where it is. I'm just doing that to level it out, instead of having some pages that are up higher, some are lower, or whatever, that they're all the same. You know, that opened up on me, because sometimes they don't want to stay. Alright. So I'm just going to keep massaging this one, and then this last one I'm just going to add the same way I added the first one. So just glue all over unless you want another opening, and then just add it on this back tab, okay? Oh my I'll be back. This is still wet. Don't really want to mess with it too much, but look how pretty it looks on the side. Am I up close? I don't know. I feel like, no, I'm not. Okay. Look at that. Again, these pockets are higher up and these guys are the same. Of course, we'll decorate the front a little differently later, better. For right now, we have, our little ties. We have a shaker on the front. Oop! See? You guys, that's why I wanted the thing to be tight. That's why I did the first one the way I did it, but people were requesting a little looser. So I did a little looser this time, but that's okay. When it's tied, then you can shake it. If it was tied. There you go. Because that'll keep it in there. Too funny. Okay, so we have pocket. Again, I'm going to put matte layers in here, so either paper cut down to 5x7 or maybe a little smaller, or maybe a little bit bigger, just depends, because that way if somebody wants to die cut that paper, they'll have a little space to do that. And the next page, and again, I'm not opening them up really, really well right now, but later I will. I'll just kind of give them, but they're still wet, so I don't want to do too much. Another pocket right here for like die cut matte layers or something pretty. Over here, we're going to tuck things in here like this. Of course, I was going to say it's going to move because nothing's in there right now, but when you have a few things, it'll hold on to this area, or you can even put glue right here if you wanted to just tuck. However, I'm going to leave it this way. So we have a little belly band. In here we have two pockets. Again, more, smaller die cut type things, or like topper pieces that are a little bit bigger, all that kind of fun stuff. Whatever you want to put, obviously, wherever. And on this back one, we have the little pockets for little things, so we might want to put in there. So we have those little guys. And then the envelopes back here. And in this middle one, which I forgot, we have an opening at the top to put some larger pieces or tags or whatever it is that you want to put in there. It definitely kind of has to be a tag, because if you drop something in there, you don't see it. Unless you cut yourself one of the little holes, right? We did that so you can see a little better what might be in there. But, oh my gosh, you guys. In love already. All right. Thanks for watching. Sorry, I'm sure this video is a long one, but I will see you guys hopefully in part 2. I'll have some things die cut down and the ideas that I'm thinking, and then that way we can decorate it and finish up. All right, guys. Bye now.